Hi everyone, it's Kim. I just thought I'd pop into the group today, just to have a bit of a chat really. I've been speaking to a few people via Messenger and sort of within the group, and I know that it's freezing outside, even for me, it's freezing. Um, so I know and I remember what it's like. It is cold, and the cold is hard to deal with. Um, and also with the thought of Christmas around the corner, and I know that's a really tricky time as well. And I just wanted to hide away. I just wanted to escape and kind of run away from it. And it's a difficult time. And just by speaking to people within the group, and quite a few of you are obviously struggling, and and that's hard to see. Um, and it's scary at the thought of trying to get help. I don't know whether I've mentioned it before, but if you haven't heard the story, I used to sort of suffer with anorexia and bulimia. I think there's a tendency in quite a lot of us to kind of jump from one eating disorder to another, and that can really happen. Um, but when I was really struggling with anorexia, when things were kind of rock bottom for me, I guess, I felt like I was in the deepest, darkest well with no chink of light shining through. Um, and it felt like every time I tried to get out, every time I tried to get out of this well, I would just kind of try and scramble up, and then it was like I'd fall down and hurt myself, and I seemed in a worse place. And it almost became so hard. It just almost felt like it was safer not to try, and I'd almost accepted that that's where I would be for the rest of my days, depending on however long that would be. Um, and I just felt in a really desperate place, and I really wasn't sure how to get out. Um, I did end up in a eating disorder centre for 4 months, and I did come out at sort of like a more healthy weight. But to be fair, when I came out, my mindset was still the same. There was still that desire to control everything by kind of controlling my food, controlling my weight, etc. Um, but the one thing that really helped me was learning EFT, and so I almost kind of went when I came out of the eating disorder centre. That wasn't the end for me. I wasn't kind of like didn't go all hallelujah and run down the streets and all recovered, and that's a big issue as well, isn't it? It's sort of like the feeling like that others might think that you're okay, and you're just not. Um, so I get it. It's really hard, and there's a lot of conflicting thoughts and stuff going on in your head, and it does feel like a real battle, and it can feel like a real desperate place. So basically, what I did is I looked to work on my mindset. And if you don't know what mindset is, it's basically I kind of look to retrain my brain. I think that's like a fancy word of that's all going on at the moment, and you know, or neuro this and neuro that. It's all very sort of scientific. But I looked to hi Claire, nice to have you on. I basically looked to retrain my brain. That's what I did, and I looked at all the negative beliefs that I had about myself, and a lot of them were around sort of like having to do things myself, not wanting attention, um, feeling fat, feeling that I was ugly. Um, oh gosh, there was about being totally unworthy. I was nothing special. I felt that I didn't belong. Although I had friends around me and people who claimed to love me, and I just didn't feel it. I just really didn't feel it. I didn't feel kind of like of any value. Although I remember having a conversation with my brother, and he said, you know, and I said, but I feel like I've got no purpose in life. I just, you know, if I died tomorrow, what could I sort of say that I'd done? And my brother said, but you're raising two beautiful girls on your own. But to me, it wasn't enough. It was like, it was perfectionism. I was looking for perfectionism. I was putting standards and expectations on myself that I wouldn't dream of putting on anybody else. I really wouldn't. But it was a rule for me that I had to be outstanding. I had to be perfect, and I had to be in control of everything. So, and that was due to fear, you know, fear of getting hurt, fear, you know, lots of different fears. So basically, I went back to the beginning and I looked at what beliefs that I had. You know, all this, I feel unworthy, I don't feel deserving, I feel inferior to other people, etc., etc. There was loads, absolutely loads. And I dealt with them through the EFT. I looked at what happened during my life. Why did I feel like these, you know, why did I feel like this? Why did I have these beliefs? And it's always linked. There's always some memories in your head that are linked to those beliefs. So I found out what they were. I found out what the link was, and I got rid of them. I did the tapping, I did the work, and I got rid of them. You know, it wasn't an overnight thing. I had to work hard at it. But I got there, and I got rid of the beliefs. I got rid of the memories that were supporting them, and then it's really strange, because then by doing that, then you don't feel like you need your eating disorder in order to stay in control, in order to feel safe. I felt, and I still feel, okay. I still feel completely okay, and no matter what life throws at me, I know that I'll be okay. I'll be able to deal with it. I'll be able to handle it. I won't feel unable to cope or unable to control, because it's me. It's me that's got to deal with it, and you know, I don't need to use those eating disorder behaviours in order to help me, which they don't. Anyway, really, they don't. So it's just really, I just wanted to talk to you today about what helped me. And I know that, you know, the whole kind of the battle of, you know, trying to eat more, or trying to kind of not weigh ourselves, and trying to kind of like cut out the laxatives, trying not to count calories, all these are, you know, it's hard. It's really hard to kind of fight against, and it does feel like the battle of your life. And I really, really get that. So the one thing I wanted to say is that you know, when I work with people on this, I'm very aware of the difficulties, the fears and the guilts, and all the conflicted, you know, the mind stuff that's going on, all the voices that are shouting in your head. I know all that. And so again, what I look to do is kind of go at it from a different angle. I look to kind of get to the root causes, the reasons why you feel that you need your anorexia, your bulimia, whatever eating disorder that you have. That's what I look to work with. So I don't get you to look at sort of, you know, we don't look at your BMI, or, you know, your daily food intake, or your behaviours. If that's something that you feel that you want to look at and challenge, then that's absolutely fine. But that's not how I work, and that's not what helped me. That's not what helped me. And so I'm all about, you know, doing what works and what works best for the long term and for the short term, because obviously I am aware that it is a difficult thing to face. And so again, I just wanted to kind of let you know what helped me, so you can kind of have a think about, I don't know, what beliefs might be going on for you. What beliefs do you have about yourself? What What kind of memories are you still kind of holding on to that are kind of limiting your life and sort of holding you back, keeping you trapped in this eating disorder? Because once you are aware of those, you know what needs to be addressed on, needs to be addressed. You know what needs to be worked on. And the way that I work is, you know, and I think I've said about this in the group. I've written a blog on it. I worked with a client who had a really traumatic experience when she was 5. In actual fact, it was a sexual abuse by a family member. Happened at the age of 5, and I didn't ask for details. She didn't, she didn't want to share with me, which is absolutely fine. And but we don't have to do that, and we can do it. We can work on past memories in a really, really safe way. So if there's any kind of, again, any fear around, oh, but that sounds very good, Kim, but and I appreciate you saying it like that, but actually for me, that's still really scary. Yep, I get that too, but we can work in a really kind of non-scary way. You don't have to, it's not like, I don't know, sort of like talking to a counsellor and stuff like that, and having to relive the whole thing and talk about it and share it and air it and all that sort of stuff. And at the end of it, it doesn't really matter anyway. It's, it doesn't make a difference. This is not about re-traumatizing you or getting you to go places where you feel unsafe. This is about working in a really gentle way to get rid of it, and it works really, really well. So I'm working on a new freebie at the moment, which basically is like a video series which explains more fully about the way that I work, looking at beliefs, memories from the past that might be, sort of like holding you back, etc. And also, again, looking at, for some of you, I know some of you I've been doing tapping with in the group, but also just kind of like reintroducing the tapping for you, so you've got that as a tool. So I just wanted to kind of let you know about that, because again, I'm here for you in the group. Don't ever think that I'm not. I really want to help you guys, but this is, for me, this is the best way that I could ever know how to help you. And if you're serious, that you think, this, Christmas is coming again, 2017 is coming up, and it's another year that I'm still kind of with this and nothing's really changing. If you're serious about this, I'll give you the detail of the video series so you can have a look, see how you feel. And then, if you want to, if you feel it's right for you, then, we can work together. It's your choice. It's not, it's totally down to you. And I totally respect your opinion, and if you want to stay where you are, if that feels safe and you feel that even with this, with me telling you this, you still want to stay where you are, absolutely fine. I respect your opinion. I respect your right, because that is your decision to make. Absolutely fine. There will be no pushing or, like no hard sales pitch or anything like that, because that's not what I'm about. I really do want to help you. That's what I'm about. But I respect your right to stay exactly where you are. But I guess, for me, from being here, seeing, sort of like things in a totally different perspective, and wishing I would have kind of took the leap, or took that step earlier, I really, I really want to kind of encourage you guys to say, look, it can be done. It can be done, and you can feel okay about this. You can do this work whilst feeling completely in control and completely safe. It really is a gentle way. I'll just have a look. Claire, you say, mine goes back to be given up for adoption. at 14 weeks old, feeling abandoned and lost. Yeah, I totally get that. I totally get that. I'm actually working with a lady from China, and she basically, she as a kind of female, she felt totally abandoned. She was sort of born into this world, and particularly when men were far more important than women, and she just felt huge kind of disappointment coming from her parents, and they basically left her grandparents to raise her. And for years, she just, she had beliefs of being abandoned and not good enough, and rejected, and things like that. And so we've worked on these beliefs, and there are quite a lot of memories that are kind of tied up with this. Hi Anya, nice to have you join us. Yeah, so we have worked on these beliefs, and nothing has changed for her. Her situation is completely the same. We haven't got a time machine that we can go back and change things from the past. That's not what we're looking to do. But what we're looking to do is change how you feel about these memories that you have. So Claire, nothing's going to change you, having been given up for adoption at 14 weeks old, feeling abandoned and lost. Nothing's going to change those memories for you, but what we can do is change your mindset around them. So it could be that we work on that memory, of being given up for adoption, and we work on that, and we create, we get rid of all your negative emotions about how that makes you feel right now, any upset, any anger, any confusion, all these sorts of things. And then once that happens, then you can kind of almost allow for a kind of more positive kind of reframe on that. So it could be something like, and this is the typical kind of work that I do, is actually, about feeling okay around being given up for adoption, because maybe, I don't know whether you know the reason that you were given up for adoption, but it's almost about kind of like looking at thinking, well, what would your life have been like if you hadn't been given up for adoption? It could have been, you could have stayed with parents and had a totally different experience, a more negative experience. I'm hoping that your adoptive parents, they basically chose you, I guess, didn't they? And they chose you because they wanted you in their life. So sometimes as a parent, we have children, and we love them and stuff, but we didn't necessarily choose them. They came along, and we had them, and we're doing the best that we can. But with your adoptive parents, they actually chose you. They chose specifically you. You were unique to them. And your adoptive parents are amazing. Yeah, they chose you. So imagine if, you would have stayed with your biological parents, and I'm assuming that because everybody in this world, they always, although we can't necessarily see it, they do the best that, just like you and I do. We do the best that we can according to what we know. And and I'm sure I've made a heck of a lot of mistakes along the way with my children, my two girls, but I'm always constantly trying to do my best, and that's all I can ever do. And your birth mother was 14, yeah. So to be fair, she probably, again, she thought that she was doing the best that she could. She probably thought that she was doing you a huge favour. She probably thought that she wouldn't be able to give you the life that you would have been best off with. Perhaps her parents weren't supportive of her at all. you know, and were a great influence, you know, and she's probably thinking about you every day, you know, kind of wondering about what, you know, what you're doing, how you're getting on, etc. And she probably didn't want to abandon you at all. And Claire, I know you have children, and you know, and the thought of your children feeling abandoned would not be, you know, one of your wishes at all. And I'm sure it wasn't for her. I'm sure that she felt that she was doing the absolute best for you, and she wouldn't have wanted you to feel lost either. So again, it's about working with these memories. So again, it's about looking at, you know, sort of like looking at the mindset of your birth mother, looking at the fact that, you know, she obviously did what she thought was right. There's always a reason why people do things that they do, and it's usually because it is, you know, we do feel that we're doing the best, although it doesn't necessarily feel like it to the other person. And so yeah, so again, Claire, I hope you're kind of, even this little chat is kind of helping a little bit. But we could work on that feeling of feeling abandoned, because to me, you weren't abandoned. You were loved. You were almost, you were put first. You know, your feelings and your life was put first. Your birth mother did what she thought was best for you. You weren't abandoned at all. And you have, you know, like you say, you have, you know, adoptive parents who are amazing. So rather than kind of like looking back and focusing on, you know, the negatives and the feeling of being abandoned, you know, it's about replacing that and really seeing that, my gosh, I'm unique, I'm special, you know, and these my adoptive parents actually chose me because I was special. I was, you know, important enough. I was valued enough, and you know, and not, you weren't abandoned at all. So that's, again, that's what we look at, and we look to kind of work through, so that, you know, things, you know, the memories themselves, they don't change. It's how we feel about them. Because I bet you, Claire, if you got rid of that feeling of, you know, being abandoned, that belief of being abandoned and being lost, things would really change for you. You know, how you feel about yourself, you know, it would have a real knock-on effect. And I'm sure that there are other beliefs that you have as a result of that are interlinked. And your dad always said you are special. Well, even I know that you're special, and I don't even know you that well. So, but I know that you're special because, of course, you are. So yeah. So yes. So basically, that's, you know, it's about shifting your mindset. You know, kind of letting go of like these negative beliefs that you have about yourself, so that you can really see a difference in yourself. And I did a session with a lady, and she had this memory of being in a hospital room and being treated kind of like really unfairly by a family member at a time that was particularly stressful. And when we worked on this memory and we were kind of looking at it and we were getting rid of all the negative emotions that she was feeling around this, all of a sudden she said, "Oh, I forgot about that bit." And she was able to see that prior to the bit where, you know, this family member was kind of a bit off with her, she could see that this family member actually reached out to her and tried to kind of console her and everything. But because of the stress and the emotion and everything that she was feeling at that time in the hospital room, she just couldn't see it. She just couldn't see it. But by taking this kind of like this cloud, this kind of emotion away, this kind of black cloud of emotion, she was able to see this this memory far more clearly, and she could see that actually it wasn't like she really remembered it, but that was just what she thought was going on. So again, it's about looking at past memories, looking to clear all the negative emotions that are kind of distorting your how you're feeling about it and yourself, and so you're able to kind of move forward more freely. And because of this is the work that I do, and because I don't look to, look to kind of challenge so much. I know I've been doing the Facebook Live videos and we've been looking at challenging things, but again, I've always said that it's about the mindset work that really will make the difference. That was more about kind of just introducing you to the tapping that I do. So it's really about dealing with the mindset, and I always think that that's a lot less scary to kind of deal with. It doesn't have to be this huge battle. It's loads of people talking about, it's a battle and it's a fight, and it doesn't have to be like that. It really doesn't, and it can be as gentle as you need it to be. And so that's been a big old rant and a big old sort of chat of mine. But Claire, thank you for joining me in this, and Anya, I don't know whether you're still on, but thank you as well for joining me. And I just wanted to kind of explain a little bit about how I work, and how it doesn't need to be around, scary stuff and sort of like challenging or things like this, because there is always a reason, as I say, why people do what they do, and and there's always a reason for eating disorder. And if we can get to that reason, if we can clear it, get rid of it, shift our mindset, then we don't need that eating disorder in the same way, and we can just let go of those behaviours that we are desperately hanging on to. So thank you for allowing me to chat on. And Claire, I'm so glad you've been on, and I'm glad that even if you're seeing things, thank you. You're very welcome. And I do hope that I know that it's still, because we haven't shifted your kind of negative emotions around this, we haven't kind of really worked on this for you. It's still hard. People can sort of say things to us, but we don't actually feel it because that negative stuff is still there. But, if ever you want to really go into this and work through this, then just let me know, and we can deal with it, and we can, have you feeling not abandoned and not lost, because you're not. You might still feel it, but you're not. And, but that's the place that we need to get you at. So, thank you very much, and I wish you all, it's absolutely, I don't know what it's like with you today, but here it's absolutely beautiful. It's cold, but the sun is shining, and it is a beautiful day. And so I want you to really enjoy your day, whatever it is you're doing, whatever, even if you kind of are tucked up in the warm and kind of like in lots of layers and a duvet, and just trying to, with your hot water bottle and things like that, whatever you're sort of doing today, try and make the most of it. Try and make it as best a day as you possibly can, and don't think that you are stuck with this alone, with nobody to turn to, nobody who understand, nobody to understand you or anything like that, because I'm always here. Just reach out to me, and I will always, try to answer as honestly as I can, and I'll always try and help you in the best way that I can. So it's a beautiful day with you too, Claire. Glad to hear it. I hope it lasts. I don't like the rain. I really don't like the rain. I don't like the cold. I'd love it to be summer all year round, to be fair. But, if there's sunshine, it's always a better day, I think. Don't like the rain. Although we do need it, but if it could rain in night time, I'll be quite happy with that. Okay, so I'll leave you with that and enjoy the rest of your day. And if you ever feel like coming into the group and, just sharing anything that you want to share, it doesn't have to be anything to do with, your eating disorder. It can be anything, absolutely anything. Just let me know what you're doing. Let me know what you're up to, what your favourite things are that you like to do, and what you're looking forward to at the weekend maybe. Or even what you're struggling with right now. Just let me know. We're a group and we're here to support each other. And yeah, that's what we're here for, and it'd be great to do that. So take care, guys. Have a great day, and I will speak to you soon. All right, take care. Bye, Claire. Bye.